Hey everybody, it's Brooke. Happy New Year. I hope your year has started out beautifully. We here in Maine are waiting, it's January 3rd, and we are waiting to be hit with a blizzard tomorrow. Very exciting. I've lived here forever and I still get excited by blizzards. We actually even got school cancellation notices already, which is really early to have those come in, so that was exciting. So before the big one comes, I thought I'd share my December daily, which is finally almost done. It's got a little bit more to do, but I never got caught up enough to do a flip through during the month, so I thought I would do one now. The book itself is an old Project Life binder, one of the smaller ones, and I bought it on clearance a number of years ago. I bought, I don't know, 4 or 5 of them when they were getting rid of this size, and I never knew what to do with them. And I haven't done a ring-bound binder or journal in probably 17 or 18 years, since back in the day when my big girl was small and I had just started scrapbooking. So I wasn't sure how I felt about it, but it ended up being really fun. On the outside, I have one of my big not big charms, which I just love. There's lace and ribbon and embroidery thread and some gold thread and charms and beads, and there's even a little bottle of magical snow that I adore. I just think that's the cutest thing ever, and it makes a great noise. All of them clink together and I really like that, but it also lifts up out of the way, which is kind of nice. The book itself I covered with muslin. It had a really bold print. I think it was black and white. And so I covered it with muslin and some paint, and I did some stenciling with distress ink, and then I made a fabric cover and sewed it and then glued it on. Some Tim Holtz ephemera. I don't know if the camera will get it. I'll come up to you so maybe you can see. In here I stitched on some crystal beads that look like little bits of snow. There's a button. This is a vintage handkerchief that I glued on as well. And then the back just has the fabric. So I really like how that looks. I like how it came out. And I actually, as I said, I had a lot of fun with the inside of this. I've been using junk journals, hand-bound junk journals, for a long time. And so it kind of felt like cheating when I began, because I could move the pages around. I didn't have to work with what came next. But I got over that pretty quickly and I had a blast. So on the inside, oh, things are jumping out. The pages 9, or dates 9 through 11, were a trip that the nice old man and I took, and I broke my camera the first day we were gone. So I have some bits and pieces in here and I'm trying to figure out what to do. So that's on my inside front pocket. That's just a piece of burlap ribbon that I stitched in. And I love this pattern, and it's a nice fat pocket that will hold those until I figure out what I'm going to do. Page 1 is just a Project Life card that came with the book, and I did some painting over it. My little one started her job at Michael's that day, so I have her in there. I did some sneak photos, and so that's on there. On the back side, I just covered it with an old magazine page. This is a cutout from Daphne's diary. This is a listing of what was going on in our town that day that we didn't do, and I got kind of crabby because no one else wanted to go and participate. The numbers that I used for the days are from Christmas Time, which is a Carta Bella kit. This is just a book page that I glued onto an index card and did a little painting on. I was trying out some paints. It's not my best work, but it's on there. And that was day 3. Got the moon and the weather on there, and a little elephant cutout from Daphne's diary. Page 4 is, I just made a spine piece out of a piece of cardstock, put on some ephemera. I got a notice from my child's school, so that's on there. It's a good notice, not a bad notice. I've got a paper clip that I got in Happy Mail, and that's holding on the picture of the junk journal that I got in a junk journal swap from Allie Common. Some of the chocolate she sent me, and this is a picture of my daughter's school. It's the back side of that notice. And just some journaling about the swap that I did. This is ledger page that I folded in half to give it some strength with some washi tape. It was day 5. I thought it was Tuesday, then I thought it was Wednesday. But then I got back to, yep, it was Tuesday. And a couple stickers on there. This is page 6, and I did a James Burke video. I watched a James Burke video and did a little painting with him and some Christmas doodles, and tried his washi tape Christmas trees, which did not work out that well on the thin ledger page. Note to self. Next one is just a small piece of cardstock. Got our weather chart printed out because we had another storm coming, and that was on the 7th, just on a tag, and I put in some burlap and some jute. Wow, that was hard. Next page is the 11th, and I went on a Hobby Lobby tear and got all this trim because it was on sale, and I don't get to Hobby Lobby very often, so that was very exciting. Journaling spot tucked on the inside there, made it into a pocket. Next page was just a filler page. This is a picture of my daughters from 2006, and I always loved that photo, so I stuck that in there. The next day was the 12th, and this is when, yes, my phone was indeed dead after I dropped it on a brick sidewalk in a puddle of slush. So we went to AT&T that day and got new phones. That was my Christmas present, a new Samsung phone. I used the business card from the gentleman that helped us, and some more Cartabella paper. Next day was, oh, actually, this is just a continuation of the next day, and this was a receipt from the grocery store and the grocery list, and I had just noted that there's all kinds of funny junk food and stuff. You could tell the kids were going to be out of school for a vacation with what I was buying for food. On the 13th, we got our Christmas village set up, and I got a picture of that, and just a little bit of journaling about the day. This was the same day, and this is actually a Starbucks bag. I love their bags. Every time we go through and get anything, I always ask for extras because they're so crinkly. And there's some information in there about a scholarship that my daughter is applying for, and so I put that information in there to have it convenient. On the back page I covered with a 1908 Pillsbury cookbook. And here's we love pigs in a blanket. We never have a party without one, or without some. And this is a recipe for the 1908 version, which involves oysters. I decided that we probably wouldn't have oyster pigs in a blanket because yuck. But I used a coffee-dyed guest check and did some planning so that everyone would know what to bring, and had that back there. This page is a vintage, it's not vintage, I take that back, just a cute Christmas card that I had, and this is the 14th. And that opens up, my daughter's Christmas concert was that evening, so there's a picture of all the kids with my ticket, and I sewed in the program very badly. It's really crooked. But the whole program is in there, and then there's another picture of the band. And the card actually slips out of the envelope. So I've got the journaling in there on some vintage music paper, and that comes all the way out. Slides back in, but it's stuck on something. It was a good way to get a whole lot of information into one small space. And this is the back of the envelope. And I received another swap, junk journal. Here's a little tag that was part of that beautiful swap with Charlie Rose. And my journaling, and it's just all hooked in. I punched the holes in the flap of the envelope. So that was the 15th. Saturday was the 16th, and just some more journaling about all the things going on. We went to an antique show, and I found some vintage Christmas seals. I was so excited. This is our parking spot, our parking ticket. The page itself is a pocket, and these are pictures of the day. That's a crazy picture of us. Mark was very happy to find out that they had beer at the antique show, so that made his day complete. He's such a good old man. Doesn't take much. Some more journaling, and I had something to glue there that I guess I need to find. This was the 17th. We finally broke down and bought a fake Christmas tree. So here is the instructional paperwork and the parts list that came with it. I folded it over and made it the page for the day. There's a pocket inside that has, oh, it has photos in it. A little journaling card and pictures of some of our older Christmas trees from different addresses. You can't tell because that's a terrible printout, but that was a beautiful tree in our old house. So that is in the pocket. And then on the back page is a picture of our new tree, and we had it all set up and lit, and there's my younger daughter and our little tiny dog doing some wrapping. And that was from the year before in her dance performance, which I didn't realize would be the last one because she had to work this year and miss it. I was very sad. This is a page from the 2017 Farmer's Almanac, and they were pretty darn close on their weather forecast. I just made that an extra page. This is an old photo that's been hanging around on my desk. The kids were tiny. This was 2004, and I decided I would just throw it in here. I was happy for it to have a home. This page is just cardstock. I think this is Tim Holtz. I stitched on a money holder card that I found somewhere, and in the pocket I have a picture of pumpkin streusel, which has become this horrible addiction that I have, and I used a journaling card on the back. This is a picture of our backyard with my flamingo wind chime and all of the icicles that are forming because we had freezing rain that day. Journaling and the number of the day, the 18th. This was the back of the page, the back of that money holder, and I just stuck in a few more photos from past years that I loved. This was 2006 and this was 2005. Sorry for the glare. This is going on forever. Hopefully it's interesting. This is a little treat bag that I punched holes in. Mark was making hot sauce for everybody, so he had the factory open and was putting labels on all of them to get them out in the mail. In the pocket, I have some journaling on this old card. This is something off Pinterest, I think. And I have his original artwork for the labels. That the only thing that Mark draws is a stick man. So I saved his original drawing that we scanned and turned into the labels. I like having that. This day was a lot of fun. A friend of mine does secret shopping, and we went to supposedly buy a boat. We went to 2 different boat yards to look at boats for these secret shops that she does. This is a place north of me called Sebago Lake, and it was completely frozen and gorgeous. And on this page, I just used cardstock, and then we went to this really fun restaurant called Clayton's, and I glued in the menu. This is a flip out that has some journaling on it. And then the menu opens up and there's some more photos of what we saw on our travels. And the desserts that we bought. I never liked sweets, and about 6 months ago I became obsessed with sweets. So it's turning into a problem. Trying to maintain the same weight while only thinking about pumpkin strudel and eggnog cheesecake. But there you go, you know. Next page, or actually that was the evening when I got home. Victoria had a dance recital at an assisted living facility, and that was really fun. And I just did a little bit of journaling on a card. And then she made sugar cookies that she burned a little bit, and she brought them down to my art room to show them to us, and they slid off the plate on the way back up the stairs. So we found them on the counter with this note saying, "Stare cookies if you dare," which made me laugh really hard. The 21st is a photo that I found in the bottom of a pile of junk at an antique store, and I just love this photo. It was really damaged. It's been folded up, but I love the skinny Christmas tree in the back and how serious and happy these folks look. So I backed it because it was pretty brittle, and I made a little pocket with some journaling in there, and put the date on here, and their names were Irmo and Marilee. It was actually written in pencil on the back of the photo. So I just used them because I loved them. And here's the 22nd, a cutout from a Michael's pad. And I put just some journaling paper on the back. Mark and I had gone out for dinner and put in our receipt. And the next page, we were out and about again trying to get ready for Christmas. And I took a photo. We were having yet another ice storm. I can try to put this up without a glare. I don't know if you can see that tree and the Christmas decoration. Everything was coated with ice. And it was terrible driving, but it was really beautiful. So we got to go to Longhorn. 2 nights in a row we ate out. That's crazy. And this is an old kids' Christmas book page that I used. I made a little charm with a pearl and a crystal. And the next day was Christmas Eve. So I printed out, actually scanned and printed out a piece of vintage Christmas linen that I have. And this was the kitchen all set up. Mark was doing kitchen cooking prep for the next day, and I was still doing some wrapping. We have a tradition that both of my girls put the first ornament on the tree, and that's Winnie the Pooh. But my older girl was with her dad, and so Victoria did it all by herself. It was kind of sad, but it was nice too. We decorated the tree, and we got a bunch of the packages wrapped, and just stitched some lace on this page. And the back was plain. The older kids got home early, and Mark made the middle of the night snack of pigs in a blanket, not made with oysters. Bailey was very happy. Bailey is my older daughter's boyfriend. Then it was Christmas. This is another one of those Michael's pads cutouts, which I just thought was beautiful. And I did a bunch of journaling about the day. And then I took some Project Life page holders, or photo holders rather, and I actually stitched them together to get this fold out. I don't know if you can, I guess you can't. I'll scoot the whole thing over. It's very glary, I'm sorry about that. But this way I could hold all the photos. I knew I'd have a lot because we had Christmas here. So I have the morning, and then I have a little card where I'm going to talk about the weather because we had quite a snowstorm that morning, and we were wondering who was going to be able to make it. But by the middle of the afternoon, it had cleared up and it was blue skies. So again, there's a glare. I don't know if you can see that. And then on the, oh, I guess you open it up next. So on the inside, I just used a journaling card here. Here are a bunch of our friends having dinner. I used my fuse tool and closed this up to make a shaker pocket. And that's a Tim Holtz piece of ephemera that's a Christmas party invitation. And I put in little sparkles and sequins, and I like how that came out a lot because there's a little bit of movement and it's very sparkly. And my kids and Mark being very happy, and my sister and I, and just a bunch of our guests, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day. We're really fortunate. And the back side is just some more of our day and people getting ready to leave, and there's the nice old man and I in front of our tree. And this is the last page of Christmas. I made a little collage with a bag that I got a beautiful bracelet in, and the tag from our delicious Christmas turkey. This is scratch and sniff gift wrap. It really smells like, I wish we had smell-o-vision. It smells like a ginger snap cookie. It's amazing. I don't know why no one's thought of it before. And then the bag that I got my bracelet in, I left open and put in these journaling cards, and I had everyone that came for the dinner, oh, another glare, sorry, write a little bit of a memory or something they were thankful for on the cards, and just tuck them all in there so we can remember everyone who was here, and I really liked how that came out. And then on the back, I just stuck another journaling card and a piece of Tim Holtz ephemera. And then the 26th was a card that I, actually, you know what, I think this was one of the vintage ones that I had. So it opens up, and there's a picture and some journaling. And then I'd received a thank you card that I really loved, so I tucked it in there in a pocket. And the 27th, oh, this was still the 26th, a gift that the nice old man got that won the award for the funniest thing ever. The little Tim Holtz charm and one of his paper dolls. And then this was the 27th. The weather forecast, just the temperature plummeted and was going to stay that way for the foreseeable future, so I just printed that out and stitched it onto a piece of cardstock. stuck on a little paper clip that I made. And the back of that is a picture of a house in my neighborhood that is, I love driving by. It's absolutely where Christmas exploded is what I wrote. It's so cool. They have 1,000 inflatables even on their garage roof, and I just love driving by there. It's very cheerful. This page I just did some watercoloring on a rubber stamp. My daughter gave me Dr. P.H. Martin watercolors for Christmas, which was so exciting. I love them. So I was just messing around with them on here. Definitely going to be something I have to practice. Those things are so concentrated and so bright. They're delicious. Love them. And then I just stitched on some tulle. The back side is some fabric. A little bit of a collage down here. Nothing much going on that day. That was the 28th. Here's the 29th. I did some jelly printing. My niece asked me for greeting cards that I make out of jelly prints, and so I pulled out the old jelly plate and did that. It was really fun. I hadn't done it for a while, so I used one of the prints as the background, and that's a photo of sort of middle stage of them being done. And the 30th is not quite done. This is our favorite dessert on Christmas. Well, actually, anytime. It's a butter pumpkin pecan cake that we call pie cake, and I decided that I would make a pocket out of this mesh. I just sewed this on, and I have 3 recipe cards in there because we had 3 recipes that we tried this year that we loved, and I wanted to make sure we had a place to put them so we'd remember. Oh, and there's another glare, I'm sorry. This is a vintage cross-stitch book page that I just pulled out and punched holes in on the 31st, and it folds out to have a newspaper article of some things going on in our town that I think ultimately were canceled because of how cold it was. It was a beach party, and there is a bonfire, but the temperatures were going down into the -11, -12 range, so I don't know if they actually did it. And then I just made a pocket out of this little part, and this is the nice old man and Victoria and I playing Mario Kart on New Year's Eve together. It was really fun. We had a great time. Victoria cleaned our clogs, not even a question. So at the back I stitched in an envelope, and again there's going to be a glare, sorry. I have my Christmas receipts in there, and I have a picture that I love that I got from the internet that's in there, and my Christmas cards will go in there too when I take them off the shelves. And that is it. That is my Christmas December daily journal. I'm so pleased with how it came out. And if you stuck it out this whole time, thank you so much for being here. And I will talk to you in the next video. Thanks.